All right, hi there, everybody. I'm meteorologist Greg D. A little Monday midday weather update here for you for my Facebook page. If you miss any of this update, don't worry. I am recording it and I will be posting it on the Facebook page. You'll also see it on my YouTube channel as well if you follow along there. Plus, following this update, you'll see a quick 90-second version of this in Facebook and Instagram Reels. So you can follow me on Instagram at Greg D Weather. All right, let's get to the latest with the storm, talk about what's happening here, and then we'll kind of get into what we expect with this system. Well, actually, it looks like I'm going to have to set up my Chrome window. Stand by, everybody. There we go. There's the storm. Let me move my camera image out so you can see it. There's the storm right now. It is strengthening, or starting to strengthen at least, as it kind of spins between Cuba and Mexico. The center right there, kind of above my my video feed here. You see it, thunderstorms clustering around it. It's fighting some shear, but this thing is really fighting hard, persisting and trying to build. So we are seeing at least maintaining its tropical storm strength, if not even trying to gain some more. The Hurricane Center thinks this will become a hurricane later on this afternoon. So I think we're getting there, and once we get that part of the forecast in, I think all the other dominoes will fall in line. Here is a look at the latest track from the Hurricane Center. This came in at 11 o'clock this morning. There's a nudge to the west, but honestly, do not read into that, okay? This is going to be nudging left and right for the remainder. Remember, Charlie, Irma, Ian, they all took last-minute turns that alter the entire forecast. So that is still in the realm of possibility. Parts of the Bay Area are still in the cone. We're also seeing parts of the Big Bend in the cone as well, with a general track toward the Florida Big Bend, kind of near Cedar Key, as we would expect that to be, with the eastern end of the cone right there through portions of Hernando, Citrus, and Pasco County. Now, that cone is not where the impacts are. That cone is where the center could go. Even if the center were to track down this eastern part of the cone, you would get impacts all across central and eastern Florida from this, and hurricane conditions in Tampa and St. Pete, maybe even Bradenton on that course. If it goes the other way and it goes completely west here, we would almost miss out on the entire storm, honestly. We're still in that window, but because we're getting closer, things are starting to come together a little bit. Take a look at the model tracks for this storm. This is really interesting. I think over the last several hours, let me get my camera view out of here so you can see it a little bit better. Move myself over here. What you're seeing here is the model tracks, and notice they have really kind of focused on the Big Bend. And this really hasn't changed. The Euro has been there the whole time. The spaghetti plot, the plot of all the tracks the storm won't take, that's been kind of focused on the Big Bend. It's been shifting left and right, but there's still a spread, and they will continue to shift left and right. So, again, wouldn't read too much into it. Basically, the Northeast Gulf is where we're looking at, pretty close to us as we head into Tuesday night and Wednesday. The intensity forecast, most models are keeping this a Category 2. It's interesting that the Hurricane Center has decided to stay with Cat 3 intensity here, because most models keep it a Category 2. A couple bring it just into Category 3 strength. The Hurricane Center is worried about a potential window of rapid intensification late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, just before landfall. That could bring it into that Category 3 status. New this morning, you've probably heard this already on your phone. Those folks are hurricane warnings. They include coastal Sarasota, Manatee, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties. They also include inland areas in Manatee, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus County. Sumter County, too. In the interior, we've got tropical storm warnings. Now, despite that, not everyone in the hurricane warning will actually see hurricane conditions. Some of you, for instance, in Hillsborough County, like in Plant City, you're not going to see hurricane conditions based on this forecast. But if you're west of Tampa, Town and Country, Keystone, West Chase, you could get some gusts close to hurricane strength. And of course, along the coast, you could always get a stronger gust. So really, from Manatee County north, even though you'll stay in tropical storm conditions most of the storm, there will be a couple of opportunities for a wind gust into hurricane strength. Also new, surge warnings for our entire coast. So this is actually, I think, the more serious of the two. We are expecting a significant surge from this storm along the coast, with the highest numbers up along the Nature Coast and then lower numbers as you get south. But that includes all of the Bay, Tampa, St. Pete side of the Bay, eastern and southern Hillsborough County. Here are the forecast surges from the National Hurricane Center. Let me get you in a little closer on our area. And you see Citrus County still looking at 7 to 11 feet. That forecast hasn't changed. Tampa Bay, 4 to 7 feet. Hernando and Pasco County, 6 to 9 feet. And then farther south, 3 to 5 feet. I expect evacuation orders to be expanded, especially from Tampa Bay north. 4 to 7 feet would be more than we saw in Ada. It would be more up across the Nature Coast and the Big Bend than we saw with Hermine in 2016. In fact, in terms of the water threat, this could be one of the biggest threats for surge that we've seen since the 1960s across this part of Florida. Very unusual to see a hurricane this strong making landfall here, coming in at such an angle. That's why a lot of water could be pushed. And notice there's going to be a sea level rise all the way down to the Keys. They're not even going to see tropical storm conditions down there, most likely, but they're still going to see a sea level rise. The impacts of surge extend well outside of where the hurricane force winds are, which is why you shouldn't focus on the cone and you shouldn't focus on where the center goes. The impacts are wide reaching. Notice on the east coast of Florida, we're even getting some warnings now, some alerts for 2 to 4 feet in Georgia, and then south of the mouth of the St. Mary's River, 1 to 3 feet, all the way down to the Flagler-Volusia County line. So even the East Coast is going to see a little bit of a surge. Jacksonville's watching for potential flooding downtown. You guys know they flood very easily. Irma absolutely flooded them out. So these are all things that we're watching with the system. The arrival time for the actual winds, I can pull that up for you, see if that's changed. It probably hasn't. The Hurricane Center kind of adjusts things as they see necessary, but the arrival time has not changed. Looking at this right now, there you see it. It looks like around 8 p.m., between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Tuesday, that black line, that's when tropical storm force winds would move into our area. So what's the bottom line here as of 11 a.m.? Not much has changed. The storm's still forecast to be a major hurricane. If you're along the coast, if you're in an evacuation area, you should listen to those evacuation orders. Just get out of the way. Last minute turns happen, storms wobble. Let's hope it wobbles away and we get nothing. But you do not want to be in a surge area if the storm happens to wobble towards you and the surge turns worse. Just ask the folks down in Southwest Florida from Ian. You do not want to be through that experience. You also don't have to go far. You can go to a shelter within a mile or two away, a friend's house, a family's house, a neighbor's house. As long as they're not in a flood zone, you're fine. You can stay here for the wind. Just don't stay in places that could potentially flood. If you're not in a flood zone, you take the regular hurricane precautions. If you're in a place that's going to see stronger winds closer to the coast, you bring in your outdoor furniture. Tie things down. Make sure the tree branches are trimmed away from your home. If you're at the coast, especially Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus County, you want to put up storm shutters? Not a bad idea. In Pinellas County, you got storm shutters on your house already? Yeah, I would close them. Go ahead and do that. Not a bad idea just in case. Farther in the interior inland, probably for most of us, the majority of us, I think, are going to see tropical storm force winds with this storm. This is going to be a strong tropical storm. Irma Ian-esque for those of you around the Tampa area in terms of the intensity, with the tropical storm force winds really being the biggest concern. Rainfall will be a concern as well, though I think the worst rainfall concerns will be off to our north. Let me show you that right now. In the red there, that's where we have the biggest concern for any kind of rainfall flooding, Tallahassee, Jacksonville to Savannah. We're on the medium side, or the slight risk actually, of rainfall flooding. So this is not going to be an Ian. Only about a 15% chance of seeing rainfall-related flooding. So that's the latest here. Hope you guys have a good afternoon. There'll be another update coming in this evening, and I'm going to be here right here updating you as well. I appreciate you guys watching and staying with me on this Facebook page. Take care, everybody.